Hello.
Hey, hey.
Welcome, welcome.
¿Cómo
We are
están?
at session 17. So I had to
Wow.
ask Shameen, like, what session are we at? Because I know we skipped a week and all that. So, we're back. We're back. So session 17, I'm just gonna jump right into the topic, which is hormones are the devil. Period.
The devil.
So
Yeah.
let's dig in. So I wrote down, like, I guess some topic questions, but what do y'all think about that statement?
It's the truth. Hormones are the devil for real. And if you don't tame, them, if you don't tame them, honey, they will take over your life. They will run you.
Yeah.
Them hormones will run you. But and for real, if you don't understand what's going on with them, if you don't understand that they are your hormones, they will drive you to hell crazy.
This my
Mhm.
thing.
Even if you understand that those are your hormones, they will run you to hell crazy sometimes. Honestly, they run and control your life. They run and control your emotions. They run and control how sometimes you deal with things if you don't catch yourself. Your hormones, they really do. They are the center of how you feel, how you handle things a lot of times.
How your
But
day
like
gonna
for
go?
women though, like we've been dealing with this since before we were women. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like when you teenaging, like it's really your hormones. It's really you trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure out who you are, and you get smart with everybody and stuff. But don't you think this is what I think? In theory, because we deal with it starting at such a young age, this is my question. That's my ask question. Why do you think that by the time we get older, we still haven't figured out how to master living with the roller coasters, emotional roller coaster that come with hormones?
Yeah.
This whole
Hold on.
podcast gonna be about y'all old folk because baby girl over here young. I don't be experiencing all them issues. I
Somebody
don't.
mute.
Well,
Somebody mute her
who's
shit.
a
Then
woman against you? No.
Yes, but I'm a woman who's not in menopause. But I've had a hysterectomy, so I have no periods or anything of that
Oh,
nature.
wait. Even before you had your hysterectomy, like when it was when Aunt Flo would come, you didn't have those emotional roller coasters,
No, I was just hungry, and then not hungry.
girl. Are you Jesus?
No, I just like if anything, I may just be like easily irritable, maybe.
That's
But
what
Oh, yeah, that's what
I
we
know,
talking
but I'm
about.
saying,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that may have been it. But I mean, I still don't like people enough, so I'm still like irritated by people.
so.
On a regular, so you can't tell.
Here go another question. For some people, especially Geminis, is it your hormones or is it your zodiac sign? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you
Okay.
know the difference?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know how to answer any of these questions today because I'm just
I
moody
think
as it is. But I don't think it's
I
like
can't
hormone.
tell. I
Yeah.
can't. But what helps me understand what it is somebody else will have to tell me. So, okay, for example, my sidebar that I did, me and Dear had a conversation, and she was like, are you okay? And in my mind, I did not think I was talking rough. I didn't think I was talking with an attitude. I just thought that I was just stating my opinion. And she was like, no, you sound like you about to beat somebody up. Like you talking crazy.
Okay,
So
but this is the question. The person or the thing that you were talking about, did it for real irritate you? Like, were you really
well,
irritated?
okay, it did, but it's a continuing kind of thing that I usually don't talk in that tone about. So I could have a conversation and my tone may not be as funky as it was that particular day having that same kind of conversation. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, I'm gonna give you a snippet. I'm gonna give you a
Okay, yeah,
snippet.
I'm like kind of, but
you
not
did gonna
really.
give an example. Okay, okay.
Okay.
All right. So, hormonally speaking, let me give you a definition first. If it's your hormones, like It'll be something that really just get on your nerves real tough that don't normally get on your nerves. For example, so me and my family we went up to spring break. We had a spring break vacation. My husband had to fly back for a basketball game, and so so he flew back, but he used my parents' car to go to the basketball game. Kept the car overnight, took the car back to the house, and then went to the airport and flew back to Florida. Jury say, "Why you ain't leave your car at the parents' house?" And I was like, "We ain't want to do all that extra stuff. Like that's an extra step. We just didn't want to do it." No, but see, that's not making no sense. Like, why you didn't take your car over there? I mean, your car, y'all got 2 cars. And I was thinking, I didn't even really think it was that serious. But like she was like borderline, like she was very annoyed that, you know, we didn't take the car over to the house, that he used our parents' car. And I'm like,
Okay,
normally,
so my side of that, in my mind, I didn't think I was talking like that.
oh, rough. Like,
honestly, I thought
Like all
that
that
I
was
was
missing was
just
why the fuck
asking.
did you do that?
Right, but in my mind, it was just like, why didn't y'all, why didn't you take the car over there? That's how I thought I was asking that question.
but how she really asked, what? And then she got frustrated at me. So like I'm on the phone, we talking as usual, and then like my husband called. I was like, "Ooh, this him right now," because he, you know, at the airport or whatever. She was like, "You lying?" And I was like, "Damn!" Like,
Yeah, that definitely. Now that sounds like hormones. See, I'm not there yet. For one, I don't ask questions that don't
Joking
affect
when
me.
I
I don't care.
said it.
Like I wouldn't probably even if it didn't affect me. I wouldn't even ask no questions about how that happened, why you did that, because I don't care. I feel like the more questions I ask, that means the more I care. So,
And see,
but
any other day, I don't think we would have had the conversation like that. I probably would have asked another day, like, why? Because I was curious. Because when mommy explained it to me, she wasn't explaining it right. So, and I was like, that don't make sense.
you was
But
way too
apparently,
invested. Like,
even because mommy was
did you
even
need a
like,
car? Did you need the car or something? Like, you was way too invested.
no, I was right, but I was fully invested in this, and it was like it's not that crucial, which it wasn't. I just, in my mind, I thought I was just asking the question. I didn't think that I was being so aggressive, you know, with my tone until Dia said something to me. So then I asked Lauren about it, and I was like, "Have you know?" What did you think? Because he heard me on the phone with her, and he was like, "I didn't know who you were talking to, but you were, you know."
Dang.
He said, "I wouldn't say mean, but you were passionate about what you were talking about," and I was like, I didn't think I would. I thought I was just asking the question. Like, you know, I did not think that. So for me, I usually don't know or notice it until somebody else brings it to my attention.
Got you. Yeah, see, I haven't had that yet. Like, I haven't had anybody be like, you okay? Or you're because for me, if you're irritating me, then I will direct my irritation. Like, you will tell that I'm irritated with you and what you're saying. Because somebody else can talk to me and I'll just change. And you be like, okay, you was not just talking to me like that. And I'm like, yeah, because you was bothering me. So,
flip
you know.
side of that, if we're going to talk about zodiac sign, Gemini, I feel like here's where the difference is. Gemini, me and Dia probably would have argued. Like, I would have been defensive, way more defensive, because that's what happens when the twin comes out, when
oh,
Shadow,
I hear you. Yeah.
I just be in full blown. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you're right or wrong. We gonna argue about this because I don't like what you're saying to me. But
Wait, crazy thing is it went from irritation to like tears in the sidebar.
yeah.
Yeah. You are still having some hormonal stuff going on. Like, I'm not there
I
yet.
did not post it. Let me just say this for y'all, because I mean, us four, you know, we talk on a regular basis, so they know I did a secret sidebar. I ain't even gonna call it a secret. I did a sidebar. I have not posted the sidebar yet because I'm embarrassed.
Mm.
I'm embarrassed because I cried. And when I tell y'all I cried, like I did and I'm like wiping my face, and that is not something normal for me. Or if I cry like that, only the four of them would know, or like my mama would know. But so I'm kind of going back and forth about posting that. So in saying that, it did turn to tears. And that's when I really knew that this was some hormonal stuff going on. So, I mean, I don't know.
So
Hormones
I
are the
mean,
devil.
but it's not even just the postmenopausal thing. Like, for example, I mean, my kids don't watch this, so I'm gonna talk about it. So Mashaya, who is feeling very hormonal, like I just turned around and she's just standing there staring at me. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" She was like, "I don't know." And then she just turned around and walked away. But that's like, how it affects your emotions. Come find out, like it was
Mhm.
a month, but it affects it affects your emotions in an uncontrollable way. Like you be sad, but you don't want to be sad. You be
Right.
mad, but you don't want to be mad. And like the way that you communicate or the way that it manifests
Yeah. But
really don't.
Jerice's always been affected like that. Honestly, Jerice's hormones, as far as as much as I've known her, have always been affected a little bit differently by hormones in
Mm.
general. When she tried to take birth control,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't go so well with her.
No, I did.
When we were younger, it and we all did, but to me, it affected her more.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that has to do with anything like that, she has to be careful because it will affect her 1 or 2 days, make her real sad, or
I'd be ready to
somebody might
kill
And let's
die.
just
somebody.
and
Like,
let's just clarify this for the viewers. Myself and Jerice are Geminis. I think y'all have gotten that. However,
Mhm.
I am a May Gemini and she is a June Gemini, and that is a difference. We must
Yeah,
clarify
yeah.
that. We must clarify
mm-hmm.
that. I am a May one and she is a June one. May Geminis usually tend to be a little more logical, and June Geminis tend to usually be a little more emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yes.
mean, just completely, yeah.
Pause, because Nisha, you got some June Gemini tendencies. Then I think too. Just when I think about like the things that you say and how you react to people, like you sit in your emotions.
Well,
What you
we're not completely different.
I said in my emotions like what?
Like when you
Anger.
communicate with others, like for example,
Anger is probably the most emotion that you'll see for the most part. But that's because I want you to be very clear about how I feel. And so tread very lightly.
I love it.
Like that is why I show the anger part, because I don't want any confusion. I don't want you to take anything any step further because I might go to jail and I don't want to go to jail. So let you be very clear about where I am. That way you know to leave me alone.
So when you were younger, did you notice in different times in which you felt that way out of the month? Did it happen close to the time? Were you a little more irritated closer to when you were like starting your cycle, or like that didn't matter? Would you do sleep through it? Because I feel like you would be very susceptible to like hormonal changes, especially the times like when you were going through your cycle. Maybe you just like were, a little more secluded, or maybe you went to your corner because that
And I'm still
for
kind of
you.
like that now, to be honest, but I can't say it necessarily has anything. It's just, I think it just has the part of part of me is like this and part of me is like that. Like some days I'm very upbeat and very da da da, and some days I'm very quiet and very whatever. My husband can't quite grasp that yet. Like when I'm quiet, he's automatically like, what is wrong? Something is wrong because you're not. And I'm like, I'm chilling. He like, nah, something wrong. You too quiet. And I'm like, I'm just chilling. I don't have nothing to talk about for real. I'm chilling. Like, what's up? I'm chilling. But he's so used to me being like hyper and talkative and playing around that he don't know how to handle when I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Being all that hyper. Like, I just want to chill. Why can't I chill? And so I don't think that it's a time, like, you know, sometimes it could be if I'm getting a little quieter, I could be going through like a shutdown phase. But again, it's not emotion. That's not for me hormonal. I'm irritated by something and I'm dealing with it by kind of removing myself from the situation. So I just kind of get a little quiet and to myself.
I feel like that's your logical way of explaining maybe a hormonal shift that you not necessarily attributed it to hormones, but it could possibly be. Possibly.
I don't know,
think
but
it's hard for
I'm
somebody
very
like us
logical.
to
Like
tell.
I'm just a very logical person. So for me, if it like doesn't make sense, it's like, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
Mm.
But I mean, I'm sure that I've probably had hormonal situations, like very few, but I'm not a hormonal driven type person.
And I think that that's because you err on the side of logic.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that like hormones are illogical, because like that's just a part of life, but the way that they manifest in our lives can seem illogical. You know what I mean? Like I feel this way and I can't explain why I feel this way. So like for example, Shameen, how does your hormonal journey?
But could that be depression sometimes?
Yes.
Because because some people get depressed, but they don't understand like why they're depressed necessarily,
right? Or they don't know how to handle it necessarily.
That's why people have to get their thyroid tested and stuff like how your body is functioning.
Right.
So Shameen, how does like your hormonal roller coaster, what does that look like in your life and how does that manifest? So the only reason why I'm drilling in on Nisha, because you're not gonna keep on making me feel like I'm super old because menopausal, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Look, postmenopausal don't have nothing to do with age at this point.
No,
I just turned 40.
It really doesn't. It
Hell.
really doesn't, because I mean, I was technically menopausal at 30.
I remember.
And I had to, start hormone therapy very early, because I was hot flashing and my emotions were everywhere. And it was manifesting in mood swings. I was, upbeat one moment, and I was, very angry at one moment, and then I would feel bad for being angry and not very sure why, and I was lashing out, and I would feel bad for lashing out at people, and so then I would cry. So I would be uncontrollably, and so I had to go see my gynecologist, because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm hot flashing and about to beat folk up, and then I feel bad and I'm crying about that shit. Like, this shit ain't cool. And she was like, okay, well, let's test you, because something's going on with you. And so it
learned how to put pictures. Because remember that picture I just sent recently with you with the sunglasses on at work?
Sunglasses on, because I was not feeling it that day. And they was like, we need to call your mom or something, because something's wrong. And she is going to either kill somebody, or we're going to lock her up somewhere, because she is going to fuck somebody up.
He was definitely having a bad day that day.
Yeah.
Hot flashes alone could do that to you. I'm glad
because that shit is something unreal. And I'm like, for real, I don't give a fuck about none of this other shit. I can handle it, but you got to get rid of these hot flashes, because
that's what I hear. I hear them hot flashes.
That's like burning from the inside out. And that's what I hear. You can do about that. You want to immediately get naked and like get in something cold, because it's not, that shit ain't for the weak.
When I was in my 30s, that's when I got them real bad. And like I would just be in regular conversation, like feeling quite regular, and all of a sudden just start breaking out into a sweat.
Yeah,
you feel the heat. You be like, oh shit, it's coming. It's coming. Oh Lord. Mine have gotten worse. And now that I am for real post, I don't know why it wasn't so bad. Like during, like I would get them here and there, it wasn't bad, but now they are at least 2 to 3 times a day, where I'm like, okay, I need to stand in front of a fan or something. And then the night sweats too. Like I
Yes, you wake up in a
sweat.
bed of water.
Yeah, it's bad. It's like, my sheets be wet. And I be like, wait a minute, what is going on? But it's these hot flashes. Even Lauren, he was like, I put my hand, he said, I could feel the heat radiating from you. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, he'll like wake me up, like, are you okay? What's going on? Because I be in a good sleep and I just be sweating. It is awful. It's
I
awful.
can't even believe in spontaneous.
But this is the
I
thing.
know, right? Woo,
But this is the
honey.
thing, because my understanding was for you to say like you're in post, so it's worse. But you always hear of the older ladies, and when I say older ladies, I mean like 50, 60, like that are having the hot flashes. But aren't they probably also post? So then you
They might be in the middle of it.
They could be in the middle. Like,
but you're already like supposed to be
I'm
past your
done.
menopause.
Yeah.
That's wild to be only
So
40.
I asked my gynecologist, like, how would I know when I started menopause? And for me, what she said was, well, when did your symptoms start? For me, it's a little weird because I actually started having hot flashes right after I had Logan.
How old were you?
Oh God, how old is Logan? She about to be 9. So I was 31. I was 31 with her, when I had her. And that's when I first started with the hot flashes. And that's when my cycle became very far and in between. So that was when I started. But I had one last little egg that was like, hey, I want to come into this world. So 3 years later, I ended up pregnant with Carson. But I was still in menopause too, which was weird, So after having him, that's when my cycle went completely away. That's when the hot flashes got even worse. But I also had my tubes removed after I had him too. And she told me, she was like, okay, us taking your tubes out, you're not going to be regular. And I was like, well, I was never regular. I hadn't been regular in years. And she was like, okay, well, don't be surprised if you just don't have one anymore. So about a year after I had my tubes taken out, that's when it completely stopped. And I have not had anything since then. But the hot flashes, the night sweats, the mood swings are really, really bad. Well, I'm gonna say really, really bad. I don't think they're really bad.
So for me, like, I went to the doctor and was like, listen, I can't do this. I'm not going to live like this. I'm not. So I had them regulate my hormones.
How old were you?
I was 30. And for the doctor too was like, listen, because she sent me to a specialist because she was like, you're real young, and if you want to have a baby, like, and if you want to try, and I was really looking at her like, first of all, there's no husband around here. That's first. Second of all, I ain't really like, ooh, I should really want to have a baby. And everybody's like, you should just have a baby. I don't want to be a single mother. I don't watch people do that shit. I'm good. But she's like, still, we want to keep, that environment healthy. And, although we're seeing, we're seeing menopause in you, that she's like, we don't know unless you try. And I'm looking at her like, well, who? So, but she's like, let's regulate you, and just, kind of see. Well, first they put me on birth control just to keep a period going and having me shed it and having my body still, do this.
Which are synthetic hormones anyway, right?
Huh?
Which are pretty much synthetic hormones anyway, right?
Right. It was synthetic. But then what she did, what I told her, so I did that until I was about 33, and I was gaining hella weight. And I was like, all right, look, now I'm gaining too much weight. Can we stop these birth control pills? Because this shit is not cool. What else can we do? And she was like, well, we can just flat out just do hormones. So not birth control pills, but just do estrogen and progesterone. So I was on a cycle of 25 days of estrogen and 10 days of progesterone.
Mm.
And that's what I stayed on. And she was like, if you want to have a baby, we'll do some other things. You can just try with your partner, or you can use your sister's eggs, because my uterus, that environment, everything else is healthy. But she's like, it just doesn't look like you have any more eggs, and that's okay. She was like, but if you want a baby, she said, I don't give a damn if you're 65. I will put one in you. I said, girl,
She tripped.
especially at 65, I don't want one.
Right.
Just another sidebar for the viewers that may be just tuning in and don't feel like going back to number one, although we hope you do. Those three are sisters, and I am the cousin. So you probably now see a little trend that they have a little bit of early menopausal. So if you have not hit menopausal at 30, you are not weird. That is probably normal.
I was gonna connect the dots too. Baby. Yes, we are all sisters, but we share a maternal person in common. So like our grandmother is Nisha's great grandmother. And our grandmother, Nisha's great grandmother, also went through menopause in her 30s.
30, she did. She did. And she shared that with our mom. So that is something familial with us. But we're also familiar and very fertile. I just didn't get pregnant. I just was like, I'm not the only one who didn't get pregnant. Everybody on
You get a baby. You get a baby.
Cheers. Shit. Everybody else.
Yeah. You just kissed me and I'm pregnant. So just.
Which is why I had my tubes taken out, because I said that's it. After number 4, I don't want no oops,
like to be clear, everybody on here got multiple children. Okay, I have multiple children, but I had them non-traditionally. All right, like let's be clear. But yeah, they got multiple kids. I didn't, but so now my journey was just a little bit different. Like that's the background on that. Anywho, so they regulated my hormones in that. So now that she claimed that I'm postmenopausal, but we'll get to that in a second. But now that I'm, technically postmenopausal, now my hormones, that regimen has changed. So now I'm just on progesterone and estrogen every day. But I say that now because my ass has decided to start my period for whatever reason.
Right.
Oh.
So it shifts the whole menopausal calendar. So now that she's, postmenopausal because she just had a cycle.
Right. So that
mad
put you,
so
now you're, that put you in the middle,
lady,
of menopause.
I don't even know what that means just yet, because I just called her because I was like, excuse me, you said I was post, and I just had a cycle. So
I hadn't had one in years. It's been years.
Well, what happened was, and for those of you who, we haven't had this session about my hip yet, but when I had surgery, it stopped, and that was in June, and we're here now in March. We're now here now in March. So I hadn't had my period since June, and I told her that when I went to my appointment. So we high-fiving and shit, because she like, yeah, you postmenopausal now. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What we gonna do? Because I'm not gonna stop these hormones, because I ain't sweating shit, and I'm not gonna go back to having mood swings and all of that. And she was like, okay, cool. We'll just change the way you're taking your hormones. So now just take these hormones every day. Don't stop. So instead of the 25-10, just take both of them every day. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, in taking both of them every day, I started my fucking period. So I'm like, excuse me, lady.
So that's why I haven't gone. So let's go back to a previous comment about me being sensitive to hormones. And that is why I'm very hesitant to go and start taking hormones, because I don't want to smack a bitch. Because I will.
No. Yeah.
But
And that's what I was gonna say.
I was very
because the
sensitive to
balance
birth control too.
is just that there's a period of imbalance because you gotta find what balance and what works for you.
But see,
so
it's
in that
not
balance
just
you could smack a hoe.
it's not
it's
just my
like-
temper. I feel pregnant. I be nauseous all the time. Like, it's the whole thing.
Yeah, so when I took the pill, I don't know if you remember, Shameen, when I took the pill and I just started throwing up. I couldn't handle the pill.
Oh, she did.
And
Yeah,
then
it
the
was
shot
bad.
killed my estrogen levels and my libido. So like when I had the shot, I had like very little estrogen. So she had to take me off.
Mhm.
Then I tried the patch, and the patch gave me high blood pressure. So she had to take me off.
Mhm.
And then I got the Mirena, the IUD, and Kelly said,
She sure did.
so
And the lady's like, well, we're going to take it out, but Kinley probably, that was before her name was Kinley, but Kinley probably won't make it. Kinley said, the hell you say?
hell I am.
I'm coming in this bitch.
Wow.
She took it out. When she took it out, I started bleeding a lot. I didn't want no kids, no more kids. I had kids already. I didn't want any more children, which is why I had the Mirena. So I started bleeding, and I was like, sorry for this sensitive folk out there, but I was like, yes, I miscarried. I don't have to deal with that. I'm good. My mother was like, what make you think you miscarried? I was like, I'm bleeding a lot. She was like, well, even if you did, you got to call the people so they can like clean you out. I was like, oh, okay, well, let me call them. I called like, yeah, so I'm having a miscarriage. I need to get cleaned out, whatever. I get to the doctor. She go with the thing. She said, what make you think you have a miscarriage? I was like, I was bleeding so much. She said, do you not hear that? The heartbeat was like,
wow.
She said, that's strong too. She was like, baby, that's strong. She said, that baby in there. I was like,
Oh yeah, she was like, it's going down. We ain't going nowhere.
nowhere.
And now today, Kinley and
How
Pitts like,
interesting is your journey with hormones? So we have gone full circle with you, Nisha. Thank you for this journey of I don't have no issues with hormones. But then as we circle back around, like you have had quite a journey figuring out your hormones too.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That means
Well, she's talking about back to your original statement about not really having that issue, but you have
Birth
had that
control.
issue.
How was that dealing with my hormones?
we just talked about how birth control are hormones. And how when you took those hormones in order to regulate your
You said you was growing up.
that's how that manifested in your life. I know, I'm just making sure that
Oh,
that was a pause.
Oh.
I mean,
It
the
didn't
journey
make me hormonal. Literally,
Well,
I took that pill. I took that pill the first day I got it and just started throwing up. So I didn't even take it again.
But here's the thing about hormones. Hormones is not just your attitude.
You're right.
It affects your body as a whole. So yeah, I be all pissy and whatever else, but I've also had the nausea, the vomiting, and everything else along with it. So I think she's just saying like you have had experiences
Hormones was a
with
more
hormonal
physical journey for you.
imbalances because you had everything else.
Or how your babies almost fall out of you before you.
That is true too, y'all. Like I haven't
Like,
had a
get
chance.
out.
I haven't had a chance to have any epidurals because I be having babies like I be holding them in the car because I can't even make it to the hospital. They just literally be falling out.
Wow.
Literally.
I love
You
this
falling out.
conversation. I've really gotten to know you guys a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Right, on a whole
Okay,
level,
so
right?
this was about hormones, but this is really more about womanhood because really, men have
Yeah.
hormonal shit too.
Men
Yeah,
do have
they do.
For
hormonal
real.
stuff. Men do. Yes.
I wish
Mhm.
I wish a man was here right now. There ain't nobody here, but I wish a man was here right now.
But the conversation wouldn't go like this. The conversation would be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, we need to make
That's just
that
what they do.
another. I don't know if people will feel comfortable coming on and talking about it, but we need to make that another conversation to have a man who's comfortable talking about his hormonal journey come on here and talk. It don't have to be one of our spouses. It could be somebody who just really is willing to talk about it.
Oh, y'all
Yeah.
already know Lauren would do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him and see
We
what
need
he
to
say.
have
But
these men on
yeah,
here in general. We talk about them
Daniel
all.
may too. Daniel may
you
too.
think
He's
you do?
They
smooth about like
would. Lauren
education
would.
and
I was just be sitting there like,
Uh-huh. Lauren be like, what day? What time I need to be on there?
Andre will come on here and talk about it. He'll be talking cash money shit, but he'll come on here.
Yeah.
he ain't gonna talk
yeah.
about his personal hormones though. He gonna lie.
No, he would talk about his own personal hormones though. He
Oh.
would, because it's been quite the
Mm-mm.
journey.
conversation we might
Right.
go like
We
He
should
would.
see. So mark this day. We gonna see whose man or what man or whoever is gonna come on here and be
And talk
truthful.
about their personal
we'll
hormones.
do that soon.
Right. So we gonna go on and wrap this up. This was such a wonderful session, and I'm so glad we talked about all of this because last week was really hard for me. I know, like emotionally and hormonally and stuff. So to be able to talk about it and know that I'm not the only one that goes through those kind of roller coasters is just awesome
and
to me. So
it manifests in different ways in other people's lives too. Really a good opener for me.
Right. The whole point of the BU room is to be supportive of each other in whatever journey, we're going through and be able to talk about it and, build each other up and not be so embarrassed about how we, maneuver through life. Which
You ain't
means
lying.
I might post that sidebar, but
You
I'm gonna tell y'all.
should. Listen, we are well past embarrassment at this point.
I know, right? Look, we
I ain't
became.
cried about 3,
Yeah, I
4,
done talked
5
about
times
babies
on here.
falling out my hoo-ha, so
I
might as
guess
well just get
so.
it out there now.
So, fair warning, grab your tissues because it is something that is very raw and real and completely just open me at the end of the day. But thank you guys for watching. We have our Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok for now, unless they cancel it. But anywho, thank y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all. And as always, have a wonderful and great week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.